Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf.
And this is CD Spivey.
And welcome to Censored Freedom.
Hi.
How you been doing this week, CD?
A little better, a little worse, a little everything. You know, I guess our show is going to get into Trump's plan and maybe a little bit of government efficiency. Well, I'll tell you what. You know the secret to making government efficient?
Starting over?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's in our declaration. But, you know, we should basically trade all our politicians in for horses. Every vote will be a nay. But, hey, the housing market will be stable.
That's fair.
Okay, enough of the joke.
That's fair.
It's a terrible joke. I know. I know.
Well, dads give dad jokes, so what do you expect?
Grandpas give grandpa jokes. They're even worse. Like that one.
You're not wrong. But Grandpa Trump, as the left wants to refer to him, has a pretty good plan of his own.
Yeah, he does. He does. And honestly, the left are losing their damn minds because basically their agenda would be destroyed if Trump gets back in office, and that's why they are doing everything they can. They are so desperate at this point because Kamala has no real plan other than Karl Marx and Saul Alinsky.
Oh, she's got a plan. It just ain't for the positivity of America.
Well, yeah, Karl Marx and Saul Alinsky.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty well her plan right there. Sorry, I'm trying to get angled up with the microphone and the camera there. Bear with me.
Keep headbutting the damn thing.
I really do. I'm trying to avoid that.
Freaking klutz.
I got some big ears. What can I say? I got some jumbo ears. You know.
I like my tiny little ears.
But so before we go through this, you were mentioning that a lot of this sounds like the Project 2025 from the Lincoln, or not Lincoln, from the
somewhat.
It wasn't Lincoln Project. Lincoln Project's the ones that hate Trump. The other one, but the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, Heritage Foundation. Yeah.
So the reason I believe this, number one, it came from Newsmax, and they're pretty well trustworthy source. Number two is the fact that as we go through this, it's moves that he's already made publicly that are showing up in here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that blows me away, and we talked about this before the show, is that he promised to drain the swamp, and that didn't happen. And there's a reason why, is because it was way more embedded than he thought.
Right. He thought he'd go in there, get rid of a few people, you know, the ones he knew about, and fix the problem. Come to find out, the swamp was full of nasty creatures.
I think that's why he's hiring Elon Musk.
I think so, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. So the Trump plan starts out with ending DOJ weaponization. So has the DOJ been weaponized, Bubba?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They are completely trying to destroy our election system altogether.
Yes. I fully agree. Well, when you got things like things Putin would do, right? You would see in Russia them
what Zelensky is doing right now.
Right. When you have your political opponents arrested or put under multiple false felonious charges. Whatever you can do to ruin your political opponent and throw them in prison and get rid of them off the ballot.
I mean, we're not jailing. Well, I guess maybe we are jailing clergy.
They're trying to,
you know, but you know, people praying outside of abortion clinics and stuff like that. Yeah, clergy is being prosecuted for that kind of stuff.
Catholic,
because we can't, you know, we can't try to convince a young mother that there's another way. You know, we gotta. You know, we got to kill the babies. We got to kill the babies.
Well, you know, then we're getting in the way of their satanic rituals otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, you believe it or not, whether you believe in Satanism, believe they're actually practicing this or not, that's a pretty like dark thing. Right? Like only a person that's really into something like that could even be okay with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just watching something. I totally forgot about it. Maybe I shouldn't mention it because it kind of, my brain kind of threw it in the toilet. But I was watching something about a clergy member of a, it was a Christian church, and they were talking about how the Democrat Party is actually going the path of Satanism, you know, with the destruction of speech, the destruction of the family, the destruction of the children, the sexualization of children, and
The destruction of free will.
the euthanizing of or eugenics.
Eugenics, yes. So, especially when it comes to the children, that's the main, like,
Well,
thing.
that's their long game, because the
Right.
children become adults eventually. I mean,
if they survive.
that's the thing, is they're not. I mean, if they can't indoctrinate them, I mean, they need to thin the herd anyway. That's what they're
Yes.
trying to do, is thin the herd, and then the ones that do survive are the ones they want to control.
And this has all been made possible because they've been able to do such things. We'll get into that here a little bit later, how they're going to fix that part too. But whether you believe in these rituals and what they do or not, they do. Right?
Yeah.
Whether you believe they're practicing witchcraft or whatever, you don't have to,
Yeah.
because they do.
I mean, I don't believe in witchcraft. I mean, I don't really believe in Satan. I know there's people that do, and you know, I mean, there's all types in this world that live in this world, you know, and we have to embrace them. But unity is our strength, right? Unity
Unity is our strength.
But heck, he wants to bring back free speech
I love
and
this.
punishing those that have been working to limit American speech.
I love
Now,
this.
FBI.
FBI, especially CIA, bureaucrats.
Yeah, but
Bureaucrats.
Zuckerberg straight out this past month came out and just admitted it. He just said, "Look, the FBI did this, and I regret it. I regret it."
Which we had the paperwork already,
Bowing
the
to them.
document showing that had happened anyway. Like,
I'm
we
like,
already knew that.
We already knew this shit, dude.
The
And
Facebook
now you're
files,
just
the
now
Twitter
coming out 'cause-
files.
You know why he's doing that? Is because
To gain favor.
Facebook is having quite the mass exodus, from what I hear.
Oh, I don't doubt that at
And
all.
I mean, not only that, not only having the mass exodus, but having the, you know, maybe the accounts are still there, but
Right.
but nobody's using.
No, yeah, so it's dead accounts.
Yeah,
If you have a platform full of bot accounts and dead accounts, you don't have a platform.
yeah, and you can't advertise to bots. I mean, they're not buying shit.
So
You know.
revenue from ads are going to go through the floor.
Yep, and I think he's experiencing that revenue drop. You know,
I mean, I don't know why people still use that garbage platform anymore anyway. It's one of the most lame ones that's ever existed,
Yeah.
in my opinion. It's trash.
If
it
it-
needs to go the way of MySpace.
yeah. If it wasn't for the motorcycle groups that I pay attention to, and you know, a few things here and there, you know, what really sucks is the company I work for uses Facebook as a information platform, and I'm like, why? Just stop.
See, unfortunately, and I can say
There
you know,
are
about
other
half and half.
professional platforms for that.
Well, I mean, IMEC, we use Facebook more than I'd like to admit for advertising and sales, things like that. YouTube's another one we got to use, you know,
For traffic.
for traffic. Exactly. Because unfortunately, there are people out there that are still using it quite a bit, and quite
Yeah.
a few of them. By the way, speaking of IMEC, I do want to take just a moment right here. I do apologize, Bubba.
Stop it. Go ahead, man.
The International Mandela Effect Conference is coming up November 7th through the 10th. We're hosting it here in Nashville, Tennessee. Very excited about this event. If you are interested, the tickets are $185 for 3.5 days of events and speakers and fun. If you're interested in that topic, I would suggest you go to imec.world. Pick up your tickets there before they run out. I just want to go ahead and get that out there. I appreciate it.
Will there be punch and pie?
There will be punch and pie. Just hopefully not any punching the pie.
Oh yeah, and I'll be working security.
So if you do punch the pie, he'll throw you out. But if you want to meet us, we will be there November 7th through the 10th, Nashville, Tennessee. More details, imec.world, imec.world.
Are you done with your shameless plug?
I am done with my shameless plug.
You shill.
I do what I can. It's free speech.
Thanks, IMAC, for what you're doing. Hey, what's the next one here? Expel warmongers.
Dude.
And pull financing away from the military-industrial complex. Okay, this is what scares me. This is the one that scares me.
Why?
Because the military-industrial complex is what has the weapons and the people with the mental capacity to stop Trump's campaign in certain ways.
Right,
I
right.
don't, you know,
Dead in its tracks, right?
dead, DEAD in its tracks. And that's what worries me, is because those were our military contractors.
Yes.
And we're not just talking about, you know, Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and all them. No, we're talking about actual, like, civilian contractor mercenaries. You know, our mercenary force.
Absolutely.
Black Rock.
Well, where do they get the weapons from for the military, right?
Yeah. Well,
Or the
that's just it,
ammunition.
the funding. I mean, that's why the toilets in the White House are $70,000. You know,
A toilet seats $12,000 a pop, right?
yeah,
And a hammer's $19 million.
yeah, exactly. If a hammer is an H&K, I mean, that's, there you go, right?
And if every problem you have, you only have a hammer to solve, then every problem becomes a nail.
Yeah.
But getting rid of the warmongers, and we can see them pretty clear, Lindsey Graham, for instance, not to mention any names. Dude, that dude's out there screaming, war, 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 fight, fight, fight.
We need to go to war with all of the countries.
Man, he. If you ever wonder who's part of the military-industrial complex or who's gaining money from it,
gather in their masses.
right, like witches at black masses.
There you go.
So pulling the funding from the military-industrial complex, and why are they so strong? As Trump said, a missile itself, one missile is $200 or $200 million. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
$200 million per missile fired. So you see these views like on the news.
Wait a minute, didn't we cover the whole the handheld missile deal last week about them buying more missiles? I think we covered that last week.
Yes.
Well, the thing about that is a lot of that is being sent where?
Ukraine and Israel. Or, yeah, Ukraine and Israel.
Yeah. Where are we fighting a war right now? In Ukraine and Israel.
For no reason at all, may I add, because none of those are our
We need to
shores.
go to war with all of the countries.
You know, it really blew my mind. It did. As a person who's seeing it now through different eyes, I didn't used to be into politics like this.
Mm-hmm.
I followed politics, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't into it actively, like, know who's this person. I really liked Lindsey Graham. I liked what he was saying. He was playing the correct role.
No, this is Lindsey Graham.
Yes. Yes. You are absolutely right. As soon as war started breaking and he started salivating at the mouth, I was just boggled. Holy crap.
Because he knew he could make money through the insider trading.
Which said a lot to me about who he is. He's a rhino. He's evidently a rhino at that point. Clearly, clear as day.
I didn't become really political until right before I got deployed. And I didn't become ultra political until I got home. Actually, I was politically, basically all that stuff was shoved into my head and all the things I was seeing overseas.
Right.
All of the excess, all of the stupidity I was seeing overseas that I had to shut my mouth about, because if I said something, I was going to jail.
Oh, absolutely. How dare you call out the wrongness of what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It was awful. And you know, that was part of that guilt that I felt during 2010 when I was over in Iraq when we were having the floods here in Nashville.
Right.
Dude, you know how many tears I shed over Tennessee when I'm over there doing stupid shit for people that didn't like us, and our country, our people, our
Are
towns,
suffering and hurting.
our entire state was suffering. And actually, one of the sergeants that I was serving with, he was in a platoon adjacent to mine.
Right.
Lost his son in the floods.
You're kidding.
And I'm like, yeah, he ended up having to go to Germany, and then he flew home
oh my goodness.
to go take care of his family because he had a loss in the family.
Right.
Totally understood. I mean, send that guy home.
Absolutely.
But honestly, none of us belonged over there, dude. We needed to be here in Tennessee serving our people on a flood recovery deployment, not over there freaking pulling shit out of Iraq for people that hated us. You know, we were feeding these assholes, and they were throwing rocks at us and shooting at us.
Yeah. We had no business over there. We were invaders in their country.
Yes.
And when they tried to take their country back, we called them the terrorists.
Yeah, because we didn't belong over there in the first place.
Right.
Iraq didn't attack us.
No.
You know, the real countries that attacked us were Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, you know, Qatar. We couldn't go into those countries because they were allies.
But remember, this give them the okay to hit the 7 countries. Libya, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran,
With
Syria.
all of, the ones with all of the real extreme Islamic ideology in them,
and oil.
oral. Qatar has oral.
Yeah, they wanted to go to war with all of those
My dad-in-law
countries.
says that I need some oral. He's like, I'm sure you do, Pop.
To mess with people, I call it Earl. Not gonna lie, I need some Earl.
I need some
I
Earl.
call it Earl. Oh, the look on people's. You need what? You know, some Earl for the car. I need some
I think
Earl.
my mother-in-law watches this, so I'm sure she's going to get a kick out of that shit.
I really do say that. No joke.
Earl, I need some Earl. What about this next one? Curtailing
So-
the power of federal bureaucrats
This is my favorite. Yours
with
was
the
the
help of Musk.
yours was the warmonger one. This one is my favorite because you've got Elon Musk, a person who is
No, I love this one. No. I love this one. Remember when he took over X?
yes,
Remember the whole. They were staged funny videos of him on Zoom calls with all of, he'd have like 8 people in a Zoom call, and he'd be firing them all like, okay, let's listen to some music, and he goes do 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 do, and the music would stop, like, you is fired, and all of a sudden somebody would fall off, that kind of thing, and something like he'd ask a question about disinformation, and somebody would answer it like a freaking commie, and he'd be like, you're fired. Boom, and he'd be gone off and it's like he'd go, and it's like he has a dry freaking sense of humor, and it is hilarious.
standing outside the locked door with the hand sink.
Oh yeah,
Let that sink in.
Yeah, that was funny. He's walking through the X hall after he purchased it.
But
I
I
just bought
couldn't-
X. Let that sink in.
Right. I couldn't think of anybody better to go through the government spending, government waste, government funding.
I don't want him to use a scalpel. I want him to use a chainsaw.
100%. I wouldn't trust a single politician. I wouldn't trust a single person in DC. There's not a lot of outside sources I would even trust because they're third party and we don't know them.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, what's he got to lose? Can't nobody bribe him? They sure can't buy him off for the right answer.
Yeah, no, he should not be. He should not be putting the paperwork on his desk and then cutting it with like an X-Acto knife. No, ring, ding, 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 right through the freaking paperwork.
And the desk and probably a little bit of the floor. Piss Secret Service off something bad.
Hey, Mr. Musk, we're not supposed to have 2-stroke engines inside the White House.
But
Tough shit, motherfuckers.
speaking of cutting, there's a lot of stuff that I would love to see cut, and this is what they're actually going for: the bureaucrats,
You is
right?
fired.
The ATF, the EPA,
Fired.
the FDA, the DEA, the CDC,
Fired.
all these government agencies that have been making rules and acting like they're laws, even though they have no authority whatsoever. No, they're not voted into office. They're not a political person or a bureaucrat that are controlling our lives. And that's what this is supposed to do, right? Is get rid of these. But they're not the only ones, are they?
Shit canned. Fired.
Because you come up with some that I didn't think about earlier.
What's that?
Well, besides the ATF and the agencies, there's another group of people that are also quite bureaucratic that I didn't think about.
These are the unelected, purple-haired, gender studies majors that are actually in charge of the White House.
So what do you mean by in charge? I thought Joe was in charge. Well, Camel Toe was in charge of the White House.
No, none of them. No. Who do you think is writing the speeches? Who do you think is writing or controlling the teleprompter?
Right. Not that old man Joe can read it.
It's the Sam Brittons, okay?
Yes.
Remember the bald idiot that was stealing women's underwear out of the freaking airport?
That was dressing like a woman and
freaking those idiots, okay? These are the DEI assholes that are pushing all this bullshit that is destroying and honestly, they have no place in government. They don't have any life experience. They don't have any kind of real government experience. All they're there for is just to say that they hired them because they're great DEI.
I was going to say one purpose and one purpose only.
Yeah.
And that's to fill in the number sheet.
Yep. To fill in the number sheet. And honestly, we need to trim the fat. I'm sorry. We're downsizing.
Yeah, not sorry. But that's what he's going to do is go in and look at these people.
That's what the government is calling us terrorists for, is to say, hey, look, we can do this better.
But you're going to cut jobs.
Yeah, all those stupid jobs that were created out of thin air to do absolutely nothing but to create a job.
I would also go as far as retracting the IRS down to very low manageable levels.
Oh no, I mean, there's that saying that I like my government small enough to where I can drown it in the bathtub and start over.
Right.
Yeah. Well, honestly, no, I don't agree with that at all. I think we need to have an Article 5 convention. If Trump gets in, we need to have an Article 5 convention.
Well, there is a group called Convention of States that is working on that, actually.
That is Article 5. It is an Article 5 convention. And this Convention of States needs to do basically repeal the 16th.
Yes.
Repeal the 18th of Article, the 18th enumerated power of because it's way too vague.
We'll get into that in the second half.
Repeal that. And repeal a lot of these. The EPA, basically, most of those people need to be flipping burgers and cooking French fries. They don't need. Fuck those people.
Right.
Because all they are doing is putting red tape up for farms, factories, and our industrial system to basically destroy us.
Now, I believe the EPA does have a certain level of necessity. Now, I don't think they should be sitting on top of your shoulder.
Have you seen the fucking creek behind my house? I own both sides of a creek behind on my property. Now, that creek babbles water. Okay, do you think that is a navigable waterway?
No.
You know that the EPA could say it is?
That is not no. Navigable by what
have a
standard?
Tiny little fucking paper boat. It is not navigable by. You can't.
I mean, I could walk down it.
You couldn't put a kayak in it and paddle down it. It will bottom out on the rock.
For use as a waterway itself, no, it is not a navigable, usable waterway.
All it's good for is to purify the water out of it for drinking and for using in my home. And yes, I am on well water.
And again, not to say the EPA isn't overbearing and doesn't need to be sitting on our shoulder, like I was saying. Agreed. Yeah. But just the same, I think there are some things, like I'm not for the whole climate change, environmental push. But
That's
then again,
bullshit.
I mean, I also don't want, cancer agents spraying in the air around me 24/7 either. No. So, I mean, there's a certain level I could say, there's a certain level of protection that is needed to a degree. They shouldn't be able to poison the air, right? They shouldn't be able to spray us with cancer, right? There's a certain level, but like you said, they don't need to be at the factory with you sitting on your shoulder, telling you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, constantly. There is way too much red
OSHA.
tape. OSHA, my point exactly. OSHA is pretty well who I was referencing there. Yes.
Yeah, those are basically bean counters and retarded window lickers that don't really know what people do for a living, and they're out there trying to regulate it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. The same reason Congress has no business regulating some things they're trying to regulate.
Yeah.
They're not in the field. They don't know anything about it. They're trying to make blanket statement. I don't know of any specific one off the top of my head. There's always one coming up every week.
In Texas, there was a pipe yard that I was at that they're really retarded, and we're not allowed on our trailers.
You mean not to be physically on top of the trailer?
Yeah, but I'm a flatbed truck driver.
You have to get up there to undo your equipment.
I have to pull out onto a public road into the breakdown lane to finish putting away my equipment because the yard had a OSHA guy there. He would not let me on my trailer. And when I told him to shut the fuck up, he kicked me off the property.
These are the kind of people we're dealing with. These are the bureaucrats. That's an example of a bureaucrat right there, right? That's a
That
bureaucrat.
is the bureaucrat. He's like, I was like, yeah, you're way too retarded to even know what I do for a living, you know? And he was very offended by that.
No, a bureaucrat being offended by the truth?
He was in a Texas pipe yard wearing a white t-shirt or white button-up collared shirt. And I'm like, dude, you're in a Texas pipe yard full of oily pipe in a white button-up.
Clearly had no idea what he was doing or where he was going to begin with.
What the fuck are you doing?
What in God's name? And this is the guy that's going to tell you you're wrong, who don't know anything about the job or the site or what's going
Window
on.
licker.
Mouth breather. So yes, these and you mentioned the teleprompter writers, the social media writers, the ones that are behind the scenes,
the people on social media that I'm unfortunately arguing with over X
that aren't bots, the ones that aren't bots.
Fuck you, people. The idiots paid by the freaking White House to come on there and say, we need to vote for Kamala. Shut up.
There's another example. These influencers that are being paid.
Influencers.
Wouldn't they by proxy be just the same as a bureaucrat?
Are freaking, I don't call them, okay, we're on here. We have what, 3,000 people.
We got 3,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That are legit subscribers to the best of my knowledge.
Don't call us influencers. I'm not that terrible, okay? What do we promote? Go do your own research. I don't want to influence you. We're just two dumbasses behind a microphone. You out there could be doing what we're doing here. Okay. I'm just motivated to do it because it's fun. Okay. It's fun for us to get on this microphone and talk a bunch of shit. All right. So I love all of you guys on there that follow us, but don't think we're trying to influence you.
No.
Okay.
I like what you just said. That the only thing we want to influence you to do is do your own research.
Yep,
I love that.
There you go. Yep. Basically, we're going to light the fire under you. We're going to tell you what's going on, and then we want you to go, hey, wait a minute, let's take a look at this, you know,
or prove us wrong.
Yeah, really, I want you guys to say, yeah, you're full of shit, and then go do your own research, and then go, oh shit, they were right. So,
or if we are wrong, let us know how.
Yeah, really,
absolutely.
Leave a comment down below and say, hey, you guys are full of crap, and this is why.
Yeah. Don't just stop at you're full of crap like that. That don't tell me why I'm full of shit.
The thing about the left is they can't tell you why. They're just going to tell you you're full of shit.
Right.
Kind of like they're going to call you a fascist, but they don't know what a fascist is.
I don't mind being wrong, but show me the right answer if I'm wrong. Bruh. Show me why I'm wrong. Right.
Yep.
Just show me why. The next one here, drain the government education swamp. Speaking of showing why you're wrong, showing your work, the government education swamp. Now, this is deep, this is dirty, this is disgusting. The fact the government has the ability to determine what our kids are and are not allowed to learn, to indoctrinate our children into whatever form they want them to be, and take anything away from the parents when they try to stand up and say, we don't agree with this.
Exactly. And the federal government does not have the authority to even have a federal Department of Education. It is not within their authority to have that.
And as we talked about last week, Trump wants to take and return this like he did Roe versus
We
Wade.
have 50 departments of education
Yes.
in every state.
Yes, 100%.
And you can call that racist if you want to, but it's not.
Racist or not, it's fact of life.
But it's giving the power of education back to the families, because they can vote for it on their local level,
Yes.
which is where they should be doing it in the first place,
Agreed.
not on the federal level, because they don't have any control over it on the federal level.
No.
It's basically it's centralized government. Are we supposed to have centralized government? No.
Absolutely not. And the ability to bribe these schools like Title IX they're using.
Yes.
You're not going to get funding if you don't do what we say. It doesn't matter if it's legal. It doesn't matter if you agree with it. It doesn't matter if it goes against your religious beliefs or anything
Exactly.
else.
Exactly. But the federal government makes that mandate.
Correct.
That is against. It is against their authority. They don't have the
They
authority.
don't
to
have
do
the
it.
authority to do it, period. Full stop.
No.
The only kind of government that has that authority is, what do they call that? What do they call that again?
It's local state government.
Communist? Well, the federal.
Yeah. Central.
A central government having the ability to control
Leviathan would be-
education.
Yes.
It's not in our government system, but what is that government system
Oh
again?
yeah, the Communist Manifesto.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
That's what has that. Yeah.
That's the one
Yeah. It's
So-
the last pillar.
of
In
the
the-
Communist Manifesto.
Yeah.
Control
yes,
education.
Exactly.
And that's what our government is trying to do, especially we've seen it this go round because it's actually become a problem with the porn in schools, with the trans in schools, with the indoctrination.
You're for banning books.
Yes, in schools I am. Now that's another one. The book bans that
That's
aren't
their
happening.
No, that's their argument. Is
That-
they're banning books? No, you can go out and buy that book on Amazon today.
I was going to
They're
say, I don't
not
know what
banning
reality
it.
they're living in. I ain't seen them ban one yet.
No, you can go on Amazon and buy that book, that genderqueer. You can buy it today on Amazon.
But they will kick you out of a school board meeting for reading it aloud or a city council meeting.
But they want it in the library for the children to read.
Oh, yeah. Your kids must be able to see it, but you can't
Bruh.
read it aloud in public. It's not even decent conversation in any public forum.
That is
period.
like sitting the kids down in class, and the teacher kicking their foot up, pouring a little whiskey in a jar, and then putting on a freaking, like Ass Masters 25 on the freaking,
right.
AV.
About to say, hold up, it was starting to sound like my third grade. I mean, hell, up to the point, it was sounding pretty normal.
Your teachers were alcoholics too.
I mean, we're in the same city, so
I don't know if you were a teacher that had to deal with me. I'm sorry. I understand why you're an alcoholic.
yeah. If they dealt with some of us, they earned their stripes. Make no mistake, they earned their drink at the end of the night. That is without question. And this goes into the next one. I love that this follows up. The next part of Trump's plan, 6 of 9 here, would be getting rid of any equity programs, even going back to the schools and their equity and whatnot.
Equity. That means
Equity.
That means
Not equality. Equity.
That
Not equal
means-
opportunity. Equity.
identity politics.
Identity politics. DEI.
That means the paint job of your skin and who you sleep with, as long as it's not the opposite sex.
Right. As long as you're not a heterosexual white person, then you're okay. with it.
Yeah.
But if you're a white male
There's different
heterosexual,
forms of intersectionality. If I can talk right, intersectionality.
right?
Right. So I mean, there's different levels of it. There's certain people. Here's a wonderful one, and thank you, Wilkow, for this one. If you had 10 people sitting at a table, and they were different sexes, different sexual orientations, different colors, all sitting at a table, they would have to, and you put like $100 million in the middle of the table, and they would have to give that $100 million to whoever had the most intersectionality. They would have to argue for that money. That would be a wonderful experiment.
That would be a hilarious experiment. I love the other experiment. If you take 10 men and 10 trans women to men and put them on an island and let them die. Yeah, it got dark. I don't care.
Okay, that's a societal experiment here.
In 1,000 years, when archaeologists come along and they look at the bones, are they going to find 10 men and 10 trans women? Or are they going to find 10 men and 10 women?
No, they're going to find 20 men.
Well, women to men.
Right.
Trans women to men. They're originally women.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I got you. Yeah, it's going to be 10 women and 10 men.
Right. That's what the bones are going
When
to...
they dig up the bones, that's
So
what
I don't care what you change out here on the
See, the whole
palette.
trans thing confuses me from men to women to women. to
Right,
women.
right.
It's like, what? Trans man? That's
So
that is a woman,
it don't matter
right?
what you change on the palette.
Wait a minute. Hold on. A trans man is a woman, right? And then a trans woman is a man?
No, a woman's
See?
a woman, a man's a man.
No, but
yes, that's
exactly. That's why I get so fucked up with this shit. It's like, what? Say that again? I don't get it.
no. See, I you can't make logic out of delusion.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't happen. It don't work. You can't do it.
You know,
I'm sorry.
You know, we're going to Democrat hell for this show, right?
I can only pray that we would lead the charge in the door.
like a football team coming out onto the freaking field and busting through the freaking paper, right? Pow! Yeah.
Well, like two good teams come together. We recently seen RFK and Trump come together, right? Mm-hmm. RFK Jr., I should say, and Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, going through this, one may say, well, this sounds like Project 2025. Well, we've seen him and Elon already talking about making this deal and him becoming a person in the cabinet, right? Mm-hmm. So we already know that's something in action. That's not a surprise. That's why I'm inclined to believe this, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have already seen him and RFK Jr. get together and discuss what they're going to do. And this goes right along with it. Work with RFK Jr. to clean out the corruption within the FDA and the CDC. I don't know about you, but after 2020...
Yeah. He's an anti-vaxxer, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because he don't go along with their narrative.
The thing I worry about RFK is if whether he'd focus on that, but that dude really has an axe to grind. And the only thing I'm worried about with him is, does he still have that climate change and gun grabbing ideology, or did he throw that shit in the garbage on his way to Trump's office? Because honestly, I'm still in the camp to where I can't trust RFK.
Half the rhinos are gun grabbers. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, RFK ain't any worse than the... But my point is here on this, I agree with you. Even if he does hold some of those views, climate change, gun grabbing, whatever the case may be, he's working with the CDC and the FDA. He's got enough axes to grind over there.
What I'm talking about his dad and his uncle. That's what I'm talking about.
I get that. But what he's going to be focusing on is the same stuff he's doing with children's health defense and stuff, right? He's already got a company set up for this. So I think he's going to be spending so much time on that, he ain't going to be able to worry about any of these other ideals that he may have. You know what I mean? And even if he does have Trump's ear on that, doesn't mean it's going to influence Trump to go one way or the other. Trump's a constitutionalist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is. And that's where I hope he stays. Because I'm sure he's going to have people like he did last time pulling him away from that Constitution, and that's what I'm really worried about.
But we'll know who it is this time at least. It'll be RFK. It'll be Elon Musk. It'll be people that maybe actually have decent ideas. Maybe not, but maybe so. I'd trust those guys over, say, Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. Or McConnell, old turtle over there.
This next one is basically Mission Impossible because of all the insider trading within Congress.
Well, if we get enough MAGA in Congress, maybe that's where it's up to the people.
Yeah, if there's enough down ballot in November, this might be a possibility, but we would have to really do some impossible shit in the Senate for that to happen. And that's why I'm kind of jaded on this. Asking Congress to pass sweeping reforms on foreign influence peddling.
It's not impossible until after the election. Let's remember that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
but you're right. Then again, Biden has signed Executive Order 13848 a number of times, and there's no reason he should, because it basically says the same thing. Foreign influence peddling, foreign election meddling, foreign...
Yeah, but what about what is that? The CEFC, Gazprom, Burisma.
Right.
You know, all of these foreign companies that they were, it's already out there that they were getting money from.
Right.
What is that? The mayor of Moscow's wife, right?
Agreed.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, even as low level
He
as
can sign that shit as long as he wants to. It's all window dressing.
well, even as low level as insider stock trading, right?
yeah,
same thing.
It's just they don't want to get rid of it because it's their cash. That's how these people making $174,000 a year end up with $30 million
Right.
after an 8-year stay in freaking DC.
I honestly think they should have to make minimum wage, but that's just
No, they work 180 friggin' days and make 3 times what the medium income is. Give me a freaking break, dude. You make too fucking much.
because they're cheating. They're not supposed to be making that much.
180 days and then get your ass back to your real job. And
Right.
most of them don't have a real job. They don't need a real job because influence trading, freaking
once you're in,
$174,000 a year already,
You're on that board and this board and
$30,000 a year. Fuck you.
well, have you noticed like Boeing board will be made up of the same people that were on, say, Northrop Grumman's board, the same ones that were in the defense contracting in the government, the same ones that were on.
You know what blows me away about Boeing?
You know what grinds my gears? What's that?
Is that a lot of their planes, shit's been falling off their planes have been hitting the ground. You know the problem with that is you would think an airplane company called Boeing, you think their planes when they hit the ground would just go Boeing, right?
Boeing.
They don't.
That's what they did in the cartoons.
No, they still burn. They're like, what the hell? I think Boeing, Boeing.
So yeah,
All right,
sweeping
shitty joke.
influence peddling that legislation is something we most definitely need in this country, because we've got a lot of foreign peddling. Russia, 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 Russia,
it
Russia,
annoys
Russia,
me when he
Russia,
says
Russia,
it three-
Russia.
Donald, shut up. Saying it 3 times makes you look retarded. Stop.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
Russia, Russia, Russia. Shut up. You look stupid.
He does
Stop
get
it.
annoying with that one.
It does. Yeah.
He does.
That's why I can't really listen to his speeches because his speeches are like, this is a guy that I'm not going to sit down and have a beer with.
Right.
I wouldn't even hang out with this fucking guy.
You know who he reminds me of? Listening to him talk.
What's that?
A guy you and I grew up with. Remember Josh?
Oh, yeah. God.
Everything is great. If I did it, it was 100 times better than anyone. It's the best ever. It's the absolute best. It's going to be greater than the greatest. It's the worst we've ever seen. It's the worst ever.
That guy bloodied me up. Dude. As a joke, I rode on the trunk of his car one time and he took off.
I don't think we're talking about the same Josh.
Maybe not.
No. I'm talking about Chrissy's old man.
Oh, no, wrong guy. Wrong. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. He
did whoop your ass pretty good.
I ended up on the trunk of this guy's car and he took off. And when he took off, I fell off the trunk because he was just supposed to be doing like 5 miles an hour as a joke. No, he fucking
To be
took
fair, the
off.
ground whooped your ass. But
Yeah. He took off. He just about stood that car up on its freaking back tires and I ended up on the ground.
I don't think he understood
thought
the
it
mission.
was funny.
I don't think he understood the assignment very well.
No. No.
So sweeping reforms was number 8 against foreign influence peddling. Russia, Russia, Russia. Number 9. What's number 9, Bub?
Okay, amend the 25th Amendment and make clear the the duties of the vice president and what they're cover under the incapacity of the president.
So the ability not to cover up like Kamala did. Mm-hmm. The incapacity of Joe, for instance. She's covered it up the whole time, which should make her liable, but it doesn't quite say that in the 25th.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think they never invoked the 25th Amendment here.
No, they haven't yet. Surprisingly
the kitty
enough.
sniffer is still our president, even
Technically.
no one is running the country except for the purple-haired.
He wasn't our
Gender
president when he was
studies.
our president.
Yeah, but he was a figurehead. Now we don't even have a freaking figurehead. We have somebody that is campaigning to be the next president, and we have another guy that's sitting on the beach in Rehoboth Beach right now, and there's no president in office. There's nobody there.
No.
I mean, other than the purple-haired gender studies
Right.
idiots. They are running the country.
And as we can see, they've done a bang-up job of running it right into the ground. Falsifying the job numbers, falsifying every
Oh,
bit
that
of data
shit's
they
coming
can
out now.
find.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, the job numbers just come out are abysmal.
Oh, they're horrid.
Abysmal. I don't have them in front of me, but they are terrible. When
Yeah.
I read that, I was like, well, yeah, that checks out.
Well, now we're actually getting real numbers,
Yeah.
right? The cover-up is over for
Yeah.
whatever reason, at
It's
least
like,
for now.
Surprise, the economy that you said was doing so well is garbage.
So I got a question for the audience. After hearing all 9 of these, would that make you vote for Trump? Would you agree with everything you've heard? Would you back this kind of agenda?
Would streamlining the government into a force for the American people and not for Zelensky and not for China and not for a military industrial complex to keep us in wars. Is it worth doing? I mean, really, is it worth doing? Put your fucking TDS aside for a second, lefties, and ask yourself, look, would streamlining this really be beneficial for me? I mean, giving me more of my rights, is that racism? Is that fascism? They're calling us fascists right now. You know that, right?
Oh, they're
We
calling
are
us anything.
How is lower taxes? Oh, yeah, we're not even covering that in here. Lower
Right.
taxes, lower regulations, less regulatory bodies to run your life.
Right.
How is this fascism?
And more money in your pocket.
Yeah, more money in your pocket. How is that fascism?
It's only fascism because it's the only thing they can come up with that makes it sound like something's wrong, and when it isn't. The ones that are the fascists are the ones that start saying, shut up, shut up, shut up, you can't talk, you can't say.
The fascists are the ones that are bringing about private-public partnerships.
Yes.
Who's doing that?
To try to control free speech?
Who's doing that? Who's doing? Democrats.
Oh, yeah, those fascists. The
So-
ones that are calling us fascists, the ones that are projecting onto us what they are doing.
Yeah, we don't want private-public partnerships. We want basically.
Transparency.
Thank you again, Andrew Wilkow, and I'm going to go ahead and shout him out. I'm going to post him. I'm going to go at him and then just basically, what is that? The maximum absence of government collusion, right? Mm-hmm. The maximum absence of government collusion in your life.
Yes,
would be-
100%.
Yeah, and I mean another way you could put this is what is that? In an organic capitalist system, the only pollutant is
The government. Yep. You're right. Which they shouldn't be polluting.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Andrew Wilkow is one of my inspirations for actually getting on and doing podcasting because I listened to him for years before I ever did.
Oh, absolutely.
I really wanted to, it's like, wow, dude really opened up my eyes. He's talking about the Constitution. I mean, he was talking about how to make government work correctly. And I was like, wow,
I remember
wake me
when-
up. Now I want to read the Constitution. Now I want to read the Declaration of Independence. Now I want to read, what is that? The 10 pillars of communism and
Right.
contrast our Bill of Rights with the 10 pillars of communism and go, whoa.
Well, back when I first moved back here, when we started hanging out and whatnot, we started talking about doing a concept like this.
Yeah.
You mentioned that quite a bit, how, like Wilkow does, like Andrew
Yeah.
Wilkow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
used to bring him up quite a bit. Like you said, he was a legend. I listened
he
to him.
mentioned people like F.A. Hayek, which I am now reading. I purchased a Communist Manifesto because of him. I purchased Rules for Radicals Saul Alinsky's book. because of
Weirdest
him.
bragging point I've ever seen you make. I purchased the Communist Manifesto because of him. Like that was a good thing,
No,
right? Like
no. Well, you have
for
to know
research purposes.
Yeah, you have to know who your enemy is.
The way you said it though is just
No,
funny.
shut the fuck up, okay?
You said it like so proud, like it was such a great thing.
Well,
But
how
I
are
get
you
where you're
gonna-
coming
yeah.
from, though. Yeah, know thine enemy. Yes,
And not only that, educate yourself. You know, how are you going
100%.
to educate yourself if you don't read this stuff?
absolutely. And like I said, when we asked the audience, what do they think? Would you vote for this kind of manifesto that Trump's got here? This agenda that we went through?
Absolutely, absolutely.
He's got my vote.
There's the only thing I don't see in there is an Article 5 convention for what is that, term limits, repeal the 16th Amendment, and the last maybe reword the last of Article 1 Section 8.
So which amendment gave us the Fed? Was that the 13th? 17th?
Oh, I got to go back and look, damn it.
I don't remember. Whichever one that was back in 1913, we need to go ahead and get rid of that one too.
Hold on, go. I want you to scroll down in our notes, please. I want you. Okay. The fifth. No, go up. Okay. The fifth enumerated power in Article 1, Section 8 says to coin money and regulate foreign coins. Okay. If that's the case, why did we give that shit to the Fed?
Who is not a government agency whatsoever,
Exactly.
who is a private business, who is not a bank or reserve, has no reserves.
Yeah, so you got to ask that question. Wait a minute. That's the duty of the federal government, not.
So they have been derelict and given their duty away.
Yeah, but not only that, they've given their duty away to a private interest. Uh-oh, what did I just do?
And guys, that music means that we've got to go ahead and end the show here. We didn't get a commercial break in, but there was a great conversation. I didn't see a place for one.
Yeah, really. Bless y'all. Thank you for staying with us this long. It's been a long show.
It really has. We appreciate you guys. My name's Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf.
And it's CD Spivey.
And this has been another episode of Censored Freedom. Bye, everybody.
Hakuna Matata, bitches.